Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here with a 12 by 12 layout for you today using some Elle Studio 12 by 12 papers, but primarily using my Pretty Little Studio stash that I bought here a couple weeks ago. Now, Pretty Little Studio does not have 12 by 12 papers, so I went through my Elle Studio stash to look for something to coordinate with this photo, which is just a picture of a sunset. It's not the sunset itself, but it's the reflection of the sun on the trees behind our house during the sunset. And I was primarily inspired by this one piece of paper that you see here to the left. It's called 5 Stars from the Let's Eat collection from Elle Studio. And I had thought about using that paper, but it's just a little bit too busy for me. So I'm using this kind of like, it's like a sketchy looking heart pattern paper as my 12 by 12 background, and then I'm using this other larger striped yellow and white pattern paper to kind of map my photo. But that 5 Star paper really inspired me, so the title of this layout is actually going to be 5 Star Sunset. But primarily just because I had originally saw that 5 Star paper, I thought it was really kind of a cute title, and you know, this is all about the sunset itself. This is just a few days after let's see, is this a few days after we moved in? Let me just check my date. So it's less than a month after we moved into our new house, and this was actually in January of this year. We moved in December. And as you can see, I don't like the background. I don't like the bottom of the photo because you can kind of see the tops of a few of the houses that are behind our house, like on the street behind us. But I really, really love the actual sunset. It shows the really beautiful colors on the trees still, and it's just really pretty. So I'm going to embellish at the bottom of my photo a little bit just to kind of mask the backs of those houses in a sense. You're still going to be able to see them, but it kind of really masks those areas and really just kind of puts the focus on the sunset reflection itself. So I'm going through all my Pretty Little Studio die cuts here, and these are the ones that I primarily cut apart. A few of them were actual die cuts, I believe, but most of them are ones that I actually cut apart from the little cut apart sheets, and some of them I left together, as you can see, and I'm just kind of trimming them out as we go. I thought, so my original thought before I realized what the actual date of this photo was, is I thought it was a fall photo. So I had pulled out a couple of the fall embellishments from my little embellishment box here, because there's a few things with this orange and yellow collection that says like Hello Fall, and it's got those orange and yellow tones. I am going to use a few of those, but I'm going to go away from the orange and go a little bit more with the teal. So it's going to be yellow and teal, or kind of like a mint green. So yellow and like a mint green versus the yellow and the orange that I had kind of originally debated. I did pull out a couple wood veneer also here that I put that picture perfect little die cut on, and I cut that apart from the manufacturing strip on the yellow striped paper that I used from Elle Studio. And that one is actually a Sunny Days collection. So I used Little Moments, which is the heart paper in the background. And then I used Sunny Days, which is the yellow, as well as like the little manufacturing strip that I had cut apart as well. It had the picture perfect on it. So those are the two different collections that I used from Elle Studio, the paper collections. I'm pulling out this, I had this Tile Alpha from Pretty Little Studio, and I don't exactly remember which collection it's from, but it's from one of her collections that she has available in her store right now. They're really nice size. They're slightly larger than what the old Tim Holtz Ideology Tile Alphas were, which I absolutely loved, but have a difficult time finding. But they're still a really nice thickness. I find that they're a little bit thicker maybe than some of the other Tile Alphas that I have used before, and so they're fairly sticky because they are slightly thicker. I'm going ahead and getting my title down here. Sometimes I end up waiting for my title at the end, and then I feel like I have a hard time finding where to put it. So since I knew exactly what I wanted my title to be, I'm putting it down fairly soon. It's actually the very first thing that's going to be glued down to my background. I use those scallop scissors, which are a really old embellishment or product to have in your stash. I bet we all have them. Some of us, I know, have probably moved them into our kids' art supply stash instead of actual scrapbooking supplies, but I still have them. Actually, I had gotten them. I didn't have any when they were real trendy to use, but my sister had given me hers. I think she had like 10. 10 different patterns, but she gave me hers just because she didn't need them anymore, and I thought, well, I may use them, who knows. So I've had them for quite a while, and I've only used them a handful of times, but I thought it would be really pretty to have that scallop border under my title strip there, and I just used a polka dot manufacturing strip to actually put my title on. I love using the manufacturing strips for that type of way. It's just a different kind of way, but it gives it a grounding point, especially since my title is a really small alpha. But it's very bold alpha because it's got the bold black and white on a layout that has a lot more softer colors. I'm using one of the little banners that was from a cut-apart, like a little cut-apart sheet from Pretty Little Studio. It's supposed to be like where you would create a bunting banner, I suppose, but I'm using it just as a little arrow on the top left corner here. I'm also going to use a scrap of that little scallop that I had cut apart and add it up here to the top left as well, just to create a little bit of a focal point up here. There's nothing real substantial up here, nothing that really kind of adds to the layout. I don't have journaling there or anything like that, but it really, I just thought was kind of pretty. It has the very soft mint tones up here that I've kind of got duplicated in a couple different places on my layout, and just adds a few little extra bits up here. This layout was one of those layouts where I'm like, I have no idea where this is going, but we're going to start with it. And when I had pulled out the photo, I knew I wanted to cover up those house parts, and so I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, well, I've got some wood veneer sitting here on my desk. Let's see how this works. And it just kind of came together. Sometimes I plan out my layouts and sometimes I don't. And this was one of those where I didn't have it planned out, but I kind of sort of knew that I wanted to make it a very light and airy layout instead of being like a real bold layout, which is again why I kind of shied away from those orange colors that you originally saw me pulling out. Even though the orange really does coordinate with the photo itself because it's more of a fall photo. Even though it was taken in January here in North Carolina, it's really got the colors of a fall look. So this like mint green paper that I have here layered under my little photo cluster is actually from my paper scrap bin. And so I've really kind of been, and this is taking a little bit of a turn as you watch me embellish here for a moment. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. I have really been thinking a lot here about my scrap bin and my scraps that I have sitting around in my room. I really think I'm going to start doing, I would say, a series here on my YouTube channel, but I don't know if it's going to be a regular posting schedule or not. But I really think I'm going to start doing a couple videos, and I'll title them, well, I'll try to make the title to where it's easy to see what it is. I don't exactly know what I would title it right now, but I'm really thinking about doing somewhat of like a grab 5, but having one of those items be my scrap bin that I have on my desk. And so I kind of, as I was reorganizing my scrap room, I had put a couple of different things in there, including some wood veneer, as well as also including, well, I guess the wood veneer and a different thing, but this will make more sense when I actually do this. I'm just kind of thinking out loud at this point. I think I'm going to do like a grab 5 and have one of the 5 items be my scrap bin, which is where I have a lot of scrap papers and things like that, and kind of start working through a little bit of my scraps. I use my scraps all the time, but I know that that is one big thing that we struggle with as scrapbookers is the use of scraps, either whether to keep them or throw them away or use them or how to use them. So there's a lot of different ways that we kind of struggle with that, I think. And so I really think I want to do a little bit of something to start focusing on that a little bit. Getting near the end of my layout, just adding a couple of final embellishments. I felt like it was kind of fairly simple, and it is because most of the embellishing is actually on my photo or around my photo. But I am kind of dragging the embellishments down here to the bottom right of the layout. So it starts on the top left and then it kind of trickles down a little bit down here to the bottom right. And my journaling just says, "A view from our new backyard." That's all that is. Going through all of the supplies I have sitting here on my desk is kind of my last little bit here. I'm throwing away everything that I have in my little trash pile and then just kind of going through it and seeing if there's anything else that I want to add to this particular layout before I call it done. I did have these Pink Fresh Studio Indigo Hills hearts. They're chipboard hearts that I had in my little bits drawer, and if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go back and check my scrap room tour video, organizational video, and I do have a playlist for organizational videos, and I actually kind of walk you through me organizing my supplies. And I have a drawer called Little Bits where I put things like these little chipboard hearts or these little icon stickers, and I use those when I'm near the end of a layout and I just want to include something extra. I'm adding an arrow here, added those little hearts, and then I'm also adding an asterisk here at the very top, and one at the very, very bottom to kind of mimic that same embellishment down here at that bottom right corner. And then that is actually going to be the end of this layout. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Please let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you are alerted anytime I have new videos. And thank you again so much. All right, guys. Bye.